Hey guys, so today we're going to be doing something a little bit different but highly requested. So we're going to be looking at how to use platforms and websites like the State Library and PubMed to find research articles for your research investigation. Now, this will hold true for all of the sciences. Physics can be a little bit harder because you don't have PubMed to help you, but someone has actually sent me through their research question that I will be using as an example today. And this is a chemistry one, I believe. So this will be a little bit of a focus on chemistry, but really the same ideas apply to all the sciences. So the question is, to what extent does the exposure of zinc oxide prevent melanoma incidences in populations aged 85 and above? So first thing that I would be looking at is honestly just figuring out what I'm trying to research. So I'm looking at zinc oxide, melanoma incidents, and then populations aged 85 and above. So we got two different options here. Now, this person specifically asked me about the State Library, so I'll definitely show you how to use the State Library. But to be honest, with a question like this, anything regarding health, I would definitely probably be going to PubMed first. But we'll start off with the State Library and then I'll talk about PubMed. So for the State Library, you will have to make an account. You do need to live in Queensland. If you go to boarding school, I'm pretty sure you can just put the address of your school and it works. So you can sign up for a free State Library web account and you go to this website here, the One Search, and it's just looking like this. So first thing that I want to do is I want to change this little thing down here and select only journals. When you are doing your research investigations, we want to be using scientific journals. You shouldn't really be using anything else. I then want to, I didn't use State Library in year 12, only in year 11. We want to add a time limit, if you know what I mean, to it. So at uni, most of the time it is 5 years. It has to be within the past 5 years, but I know school is a little bit more lenient because I understand it can be difficult. So I'm going to make this 10 years. So I'm just going to say that my start date is going to be 2015 and my end date is going to be 2025. So preferably it's going to be not as far back as 2015, but we don't want to be using anything like earlier than that. So I'm going to put that up there. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back and I'm looking at zinc oxide. So I'm going to put this in and I'm going to put a search term as zinc oxide. And I might do, I might keep it at and for now. That's going to help us out quite a lot. And then I'm going to put melanoma in. So I'm not going to put melanoma incidents because their word incidents might not be used in everything, but melanoma should be. And I am going to hold on for the population age 85 and above for now, because the problem with something like that is you don't know exactly how researchers have worded that. So it can be really hard to put it in a very specific search function because you don't know exactly how people have said age 85 and above. So we're just going to keep it with zinc oxide and melanoma for now and see what we can find. So as you can see, we got 4,000 and something results. That is a lot, but what I'm going to do over on the right hand side here is I want open access only because those are the ones that are going to be free. So I'm going to redo that and it's cut down about 1,000 for me. And then from here, you sort of just have to start sorting through it and you should have some sort of idea of what exactly you want to be doing. I'm also just going to take out review articles. Review articles can be a really good place to start, but you need to be finding the original data. We will talk about review articles at the end of this video, but for now, we're just trying to find some primary data here. We are also looking for ones in English, but as you can see, there's barely any in other languages, so that shouldn't be a problem. Any databases, that doesn't really matter either. Subject doesn't matter either because this could fall into like a lot of different things, as you can see. So I think that is all the filters we will put on it for now. Really, they should be peer reviewed as well, because that is something you can talk about in like the quality of evidence section. So let's see if I do peer reviewed. Yeah, it only cuts down about another 100. So now we've got it down to about 1,300 things in here. And usually you only need to have 3 research articles or 3 pieces of evidence. So we're going to have a look at these ones here because I'm sure we can find 3 good articles in here. Okay, so what we're going to look at now is PubMed, because personally I believe PubMed is much more suitable for this research question here. So when you Google PubMed, you get two things come up, PubMed and PubMed Central. We want to go down to PubMed Central because this is the one where they are all, majority of the time, free. So PubMed Central is the one to go to. Now, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to use quotation marks because I want zinc oxide to be in it and I want melanoma to be in it. So that's what I'm going to start off with, and I'm going to press search. Okay, so we got 2,316 up there, and I'm just going to change it to a 10-year publication date. And there's nothing we can do in here currently to exclude review articles. So this one is talking about zinc oxide nanoparticles. Now this is a review, and I can show you how to use this. Let's keep looking. We've got continuous zinc oxide nanoparticle exposure induces melanoma-like skin lesions. That might be an interesting one. Interactions of zinc oxide with mammalian cells. That looks like a review, but we might be able to get some good information from it. This has been retracted, so we don't want to be looking at that. I'm pretty sure that's the same one from the State Library. Let's keep looking. Okay, we've got one about melanoma here, so I might open that. That's a review. Now, something I do want to mention is it's to what extent. So that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to find stuff that is preventing the melanoma incidence. It could also be like disproving that. So always remember that you don't have to find something that agrees with your research question. It could be something else. It could be the opposite. So let me just go back. I think I missed a couple on the first page. Let's see. That's metastatic cancer. No. Okay, I'm just looking for things with melanoma in it specifically. Okay, so this is 3 different human cancer cell lines. So we might have melanoma in here. Cytotoxicity, that might be to do with cancer death. That's gastric cancer. Comparative study on oh no, that's colon cancer, never mind. No. Okay, we've got zinc oxide-based nanocomposites to inhibit progression and metastasis of melanoma. So that's going to be a good one. Recent advances. This would be a review, but it might help us find some additional things. We've got melanoma management in 2024, so we might have a look at that. It could lead us to some primary articles. Nanoparticle-based treatment approaches for skin cancer. So melanoma is a kind of skin cancer. Okay, this is another review article or literature review or something like that, but we're going to open it up anyway. B-cell lymphoma, okay. Nano-formulated natural drugs in melanoma. Again, it's a review, but it might help us. We've got lots of reviews here, but that's good because it leads us to primary articles. Oh, what did I just do? Sorry. Okie dokie, I've got a whole bunch of articles up here. So now we're going to go through the vetting process. So the problem with research investigations is it's actually pretty hard to find exactly what you want. So you need to make sure that you are flexible with your research questions. So I would recommend not doing any part of your assignment until you have your 3 research articles, because then it allows you to change your research question and the focus of it if you need to. So we're looking at so what I'm going to do, because I can't see melanoma in the title here, I'm just going to have a look at that. And it is only mentioned once, and it says, since the early 2000s, several studies have shown that low-intensity alternating fields helps that, blah, 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 blah. This is talking about electric fields. Melanoma is mentioned once, so this is not going to be suitable for us. This one is zinc oxide and copper oxide nanoparticles and their cytotoxicity. So let's have a look if we can see melanoma. So as I can see here, as a result, the bimetallic zinc oxide, copper oxide nanoparticles exhibited high toxicity on melanoma cancer cells. So this might be something we want to look at. So then I'm going to go over to the side here and have a look at the results. And I'm just going to have a look at the graphs first. I'm not going to spend all of my time reading this article to find out that it's not what I'm looking at. So instead, I want to be trying to understand the results. So here we are not looking at melanoma in this. We're more looking at the structure of these nanoparticles itself. So we don't need to worry about that. Again, surface morphology is not something we need to look at. Nothing to do with cancer here, but the cytotoxicity of these cells, this is what we want to be looking at from here. So if we read the caption of this, it says, the cell viability in A, lung cancer cells, and B, human melanoma cancer cells in the presence of various concentrations of blah, 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 blah. So B is our melanoma cells. So as you can see in the control, there is no treatment. So our human melanoma cancer cells are very viable. And then we have our positive control. But over here, these gray lines here is what we are looking at. Now, as you can see, we start off with 100% cell viability, but as we use increasing concentrations of this zinc oxide, as you can see, the cell viability is decreasing. So that looks like it is all well and good. So I'm liking the look of this article. We've got some good evidence here. Now, the only thing that we don't know about is the age of what we are looking at. So I'm going to see where culturing of cells. Okay. They have been prepared from the cell bank. They were grown, etc., etc. So they have not used any people or any patients in this. They have just used cultured cells from the lab. However, we do have very good evidence here of, of this working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that link into my planning document. And I'm going to give a quick summary of what it showed me. So I'm going to say cell viability of melanoma cancer cells, zinc oxide, copper oxide, bimetallic nanoparticle. No participants though, so we don't have anything to do with the age, so we're missing that age 85 and above with this article. So I've noted this one down, so I'm going to cross out of it now. Now we're looking at this one. So it's zinc oxide based nanocomposites to inhibit progression and metastasis of melanoma. So this looks excellent. All about melanoma, as you can see, is everywhere here. Let's look at the results and discussion in our rationale. So the conclusion, this study highlights the novel mechanism of this. Let's see. Let's have a look at our results. Okay, here we go. For the discussion. Okay, Okay, so this one is melanoma. Okay, this one I think is what we want to be looking at here because it's got that zinc oxide composite compound here, and it's asking about the progression of melanoma in situ. So this is probably what we want to be looking at. Let's have a look here. Anti-tumor effect on, so A and B are thermographic images of mice treated with this. C and D is the tumor weight and the tumor volume of the mice. E and F are, what's E and F? Okay, I think I know. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to figure out the difference between E and F here. Okay, so C and D are the mice, the tumor weight and tumor volume of the mice after they have been irradiated with laser, whereas E and F is after they've been injected with this zinc oxide. So it's the difference, the two different treatments there. So E and F is what we would be looking at. And they've got a lot of different types of this zinc oxide composite here. And I'm assuming I would have to read this a lot more, but I'm assuming the PBSL or whatever is our control. Now, it's telling us down here that there is some statistical difference along the side here. So as you can see, we've got lots of statistical significance, and they've given you the key down here in between the different kinds of treatment for this mice. Now, as you can see with the black one here for the zinc oxide, they have the lowest tumor volume, whereas the PBS, which I would have to check, but I'm assuming the PBS is some sort of control. Let me check. Yeah, PBS is the control. Where is it? PBS is the control. The control has a much larger tumor volume. So as we've got the increasing zinc oxide with these different ones here, the tumor volume is shrinking, and so is the tumor weight. So again, this is some really good evidence for what you're looking for, because we are looking at melanoma here. Again, though, this study is in mice, so it's not in that. It's not even in humans yet. It's not even in the age range that you've specified here. Honestly, I don't know if you are going to find it in that specific age range. I hope you've done some Googling before to see if this is something that they're even testing in humans. A lot of the time, those human tests would only be observational studies, so they wouldn't be great. But the problem with specifying an age would be that a lot of the time these novel treatments, they aren't being tested in humans yet, so you might have a little bit of difficulty there. But I found you a second good article. You then go on to the third one here. Now, this one I wanted to talk about because it is a sort of a review article here. So as you can see, there is no primary data, no nothing here. And if you look at the table of contents, it's like a textbook chapter. They're literally just explaining this to you. Now, whilst you can't use this as evidence, a lot of the time you can use these review articles to find primary evidence. So I would have a look first for melanoma. Okay, so oxidative stress caused by well-crystallized zinc oxide nanoparticles was evaluated on melanoma cancer cells. And they've given us a article reference here, 120. So what we could do here is if we see that they've induced the oxidative stress in these melanoma cells, then we can go and press on any of the hyperlinks that will take us to it. And this could be an opportunity for primary research. So we've got one here that we could have a look at, but as you can see, that is not free, and who is going to pay $110 for that? So that's not a good article. Otherwise, though, they don't speak about melanoma at all in this review article, so we're not going to find any good data here, so we'll leave that one. This one is a management for primary cutaneous melanoma, so we might find some zinc oxide stuff in here. So I'm just going to do another Command F search, and we've got one down here. This is talking about cotton textiles. That's the only time they even mention zinc in the references, so that's not going to help us. Advancements in nanoparticle-based treatment for approaches in skin cancer therapy. Again, this is a review article, but let's search for zinc. And look, we've got some zinc oxide mentioned all around, and we've got a nice little paragraph, or lots of paragraphs here on this. So this is probably going to be a gold mine for information. So now we need to see where they're talking about, here we go, trying to find a reference that is telling us that it has been good for, there we go, we find a strategy for anti-melanoma efficacy of this RAS binding domain. I've seen this come up quite a lot, so that is something you might want to look into. Oh no, this is never mind, I correct myself. This is looking at the efficacy of the zinc oxide, not specifically at the melanoma. I think we've had a look at that study there. What's this? Okay, zinc oxide nanoparticle complexes, implication as therapeutics against experimental melanoma. So let's click on PubMed and see if it can take us here. Again, this looks like a bit of a review. Okay, so this one here is talking about the possibility of using zinc oxide as an anti-cancer strategy. So probably not the most useful article, because it's more talking about future research. What about this one here? Okay, no, I think we've looked at that one. A few more studies exhibited favorable results against skin cancer. Okay, that might be something you might want to look at. We've had a look at that one. That's carcinoma. There we go. Don't think we've looked at this one. Let's have a look. Yeah, this could have some good stuff. Let's have a look at the results here. Okay, cytotoxicity on the A375 cells. So as you can see, cell viability is decreasing as the concentration is increasing. And we've also got some microscope images here. So that would be another thing that I would like to look at. And honestly, you could really use those 3 articles there if you change your age 85 and above thing. Because to be honest, as I said before, when we're looking at human research or like medication, drug, cancer, anything like that, whenever it's novel treatment, it's going to be very unlikely that you are going to find data that is looking specifically at humans. And on top of that, who out here is taking people age 85 plus and having a look at how zinc oxide is preventing melanoma? And on top of that, it's going to be very hard to find an actual answer to this research question, because you can never say exactly, oh yeah, the zinc oxide is preventing melanoma in these people. Like, it could be anything, okay? So to the person who sent this in for me, and to everyone watching this, when you have a research question like this, I really recommend tweaking it just to make your life a whole lot easier, to instead be looking at how zinc oxide affects melanoma cancer cells, something like that. Instead of looking at like the incidence in a specific population, I'd be more looking at the pure like chemistry of it and like the cell viability and all of that sort of stuff. However, I don't know what your claim is, so I can't give you an alternative research question that fits the claim, because I might give you something wrong because I don't know your claim. But honestly, I recommend tweaking this question a little bit, and also making it a bit easier for you to talk about the chemistry of this yourself. As you can see, I've got a whole bunch of other articles up there that I could be vetting. To be honest with you, I couldn't find a lot of good stuff on the State Library. It is not a great platform to use, in my opinion. It's difficult to navigate. It's just not great. So whenever you've got anything that's even slightly medical based, I really recommend going to PubMed. Way better, free. Maybe I'm just used to using it more, but it is really, really excellent. So see, I hope this helped you out, and I hope it helped you guys understand how you can use a review article to go and find articles, how you need to be using primary research, and additionally, Command F to find those keywords in the article. Don't start reading the article, it'll be a waste of your time. And then after you find those keywords, have a look at the results in the article, look at the X and Y axes, read the figure captions, and figure out, okay, is this telling me what I want to hear? If it's not, or, okay, no, not necessarily what you want to hear, but if it is not helpful to your investigation, cross out the article. There is no need to do any reading. The only reading I want you guys to do is of the figure captions. So hopefully that video helped, and honestly, go through, get a whole document up of possible research articles, find ones that sort of look at slightly different things so you can give a more broad response, and then eliminate, pick your 3, and then write your article from your assignment from there. I don't recommend you do any other part of the assignment until you have found your 3 articles, because most of the time, most people end up having to change their research question to suit what they have found, and there is nothing wrong with that. Your research question is not set in stone, so you might as well use it to your advantage. Thank you for watching, and I hope that one helped you out.